sector, and I hope you can see my presentation now.
Yeah, everything's fine. We just see it looks great. Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much. So
So enjoy.
my name, I'm President and CEO of Incap Corporation, and I've spent most of my career in electronics, but also some other industry, I'm really pleased today that I'm here together with my colleague, perhaps the biggest rock star in ESG in our electronics sector. She's called to speak in more conferences than Bill Clinton over the world, talking about ESG topics. So Helena Maripuu, a fantastic colleague of mine in Incap. So you will see very soon where the competence lies. I will talk a little bit about Incap in general, so you know where we're coming from. So we are an EMS company, and we are in several locations in the world, in the US, in UK, in Slovakia, India, and Estonia. And we have a small headquarters in Finland. So from the beginning, we're a Finnish company. And basically, we do electronics. And as you know, nowadays, electronics are not only manufacturing, but everything from design to different logistic solutions and so around. If you look a little bit in brief, then we are a listed company. So we are publicly listed in Nasdaq Helsinki since 1997. So you can find, if you want to invest, you can always find our shares there. Roughly 2,500 people in working for us, and as I mentioned, globally we have operations in the different, but also sourcing office in Hong Kong, for example, and a small headquarters in. Now, if you look going back, we have more than 50 years experience with different parts of the group in electronics, and have been a growth company. When I started in Incap, then we were 35 million in revenue, and now we are north of 230, 250 million in revenue. So we have been growing quite heavily the last years in Incap. Our locations are in beautiful places around the world. So I always tell everybody, come and visit us. We take on visitors. So if you are in the industry and you're interested in visiting one of our facilities, reach out to us and come and see, because it's fantastic people working in our different teams, and we have a decentralized model, and I will come back to that more here during the presentation, but that also leads to that we have amazing people, so entrepreneurial people, passionate about electronics, and it's a joy to travel around in the different units and meeting them. So Incap, we do electronics for almost all different sectors. We are not that much in consumer electronics, but if you look at other sector, defense, medicine, aerospace, and automotive a little bit, but of course, industrial electronics, IoT, and power electronics are perhaps our strength. But basically, we do electronics for all different sectors. What perhaps is a red line in it, it's complex electronics, and we are more specialized onto the mid-volume, low to mid-volume, even if we do some mass production cases as well, for example, in our Indian plant, then it's more on the mid part, which of course goes hand in hand with the sectors. If you look in industrial and in some of these sectors, there's not high volumes or mid volumes rather, if you look at compared to, I don't know, toothbrushes or something like that. As I said, we have a decentralized business model. So what that means is that we basically don't have any headquarters. So me and Helena, we are almost a third of our current headquarters. So we have 6-7 people working for us in headquarters. Most of those work with investor relations and reporting towards the market, as we're a listed company. And our headquarters, where we're talking about 15 square meters roughly as a room, and that of course sets us apart a lot from different other companies. But what it makes is that we are very client focused, as the business is driven outside in the different units. then we are really client-oriented. Each factory is responsible for filling themselves. So we don't have these classic conflicts between sales and manufacturing, and so each one are working on that themselves, and they carry all the resources they need to do. That doesn't mean that we don't do cooperation. That we do, of course, as well. But it's a different approach, and that means that we are very quick doing decisions. So our decision makings are in the spot. Every meetings we go into, we have the decision maker in place, and that means, of course, that for our customers, where time to market is important and quick decision making, and so then we can cater them very well with that. The big advantages with this decentralized model, I would perhaps put them in three. And the first one is the customer focus. That the setup makes us extremely customer focused. Every customer have a dedicated team in whatever unit they are in, or if there are multiple units as well. We don't prioritize in between customers, and for example, when there has been component shortages or COVID times or whatnot, then everybody have been catered equally in that sense, and so driven customer focus. The other thing I was we have fantastic people. By giving the possibility for people to be entrepreneurial and take decisions and take responsibility, then that attracts a lot of gifted and driven people, and we have fantastic people in over the world in our factories. When you come into one of our factories, people are talking business, people are talking about opportunities, and so it's almost like a startup environment, but in a very classic industry as we are. And the third is, of course, from an owner perspective or shareholder perspective, the model is very cost efficient. So when normally you have EBIT in our peers, so for example, there are 4 to 6% EBIT, already celebrating highly when they go 8. Then our EBIT over the years has been well over in double digits, so 12 to 14, even 15% some years, and that is not because we are better at the business, or I would say, or have better customers or higher prices or so. We are just more efficient. So we're more cost efficient, using the same resources and the same setup, but being able to deliver without big costs and big overheads and others that perhaps others have. Our strategy is very simple. I mentioned that over the 10 years I've been in Incap, and it has been a huge growth, and of course that is something we continue to focus on. We believe that taking our concept and scaling it up would be very interesting for the market, and having I would say a bigger EMS company that is flexible, because that is you need to light the match and look in the dark for in currently on the market. There are not very many on that, and our growth or our strategy are very much focused on the growth, but profitable growth. We don't want to, like many companies in the past, go for the volume and hope they can turn profitability at the end. We don't believe in that. We believe in that growth should be profitable already from start. And of course, the model that we are working with decentralized management, we think that there is something to develop there, and so continuing this operational excellence is a big key for us. Having a lot of people that take responsibility in here, before I give over to Helena, then I would like to say that our ESG program came from bottom up. So the initiative came from the different units and the different people in the organization that they want to develop, and so we started already with our sustainability program here before it became mandatory, and have already given out, is it, Helena, our fourth report now for the market, and we keep on developing it. But it's not only about nowadays earning money, it's about how you do it. And I think this kind of value-driven approach is very much so that what drives our sustainability goals. And I really hope that more people get involved in this, even if we now see that perhaps it's a little bit changing the environment with the new administrations in the different part of the world, and so then still Incap have supported and signed the UN this sustainability goals, and I urge companies in the industry that let's do this together and continue developing it. But Helena, please.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you also for having us here. It's a great honor. So that's true. What Otto just showed, that we have been concentrating on these things and these sustainability topics much more before they became obligatory for companies like us. And we see that the key is, if you look at in the bigger perspective or higher level, that the key is the holistic approach towards it. So it's not that everybody is working in silos and doing their business, but that we work together on it and view it even like internally in companies, not based on the teams or different topics, but holistically from a higher level. And it is, of course, so that ESG or sustainability in itself, it's not only for mandatory purposes or reporting purposes, as our headline also said, that the key here is technological and general innovation, of course, because what these updates in this field have given us is more transparency, maybe, if we talk about reporting our activities and the numbers and what all the companies are now more and more doing. But the idea still should be that we work towards more sustainable end results that are still profitable, and that the solutions that we develop also in general in our field and industry help to develop our industries. So the end goal should be still a business goal and a sustainable business goal. So if we are already in here talking about this, so if the whole world, let's say not only Europe, are now a little bit impacted by this changes in sustainability field regarding the data collection for mandatory reportings, and why I say the whole world is that very many companies work outside the Europe as well, similarly to Incap, like you saw, and this means that all these parts are also impacted by this. Then what you can do is that you can take either this victim or the winner mentality, that either you're a victim of these changes that are in this field, and you feel that you need to do more and report numbers that you have to figure out where to get and so on, or you take the winner mentality like we have decided to take in Incap and see that, okay, whether if we have to do it anyway, then let's see how we win from this. And I think if you look at our sustainability program, then I believe that's a clear mirror for that. So what we have decided is that let's take it up as Otto already shared, based on the international frameworks, UN Global Compact and SDG goals, and create our own program with very specific themes and targets, what we want to aim. And you can see this information publicly on our website as well, and we from this year report also information on our targets, how we are progressing and so on. But the baseline or the ground for this program has been coming still from our teams, which how Otto said, that even though we are decentralized, that we all work together in these endeavors. So all teams from all over the world for Incap have been contributing to determine what kind of topics are relevant for us in sustainability field. And of course, we have also engaged our customers, our partners, our financiers, investors in this to create such program. So if you move on to the next slide. then I think it's a good overview of how we work. So everything we just discussed has been this like middle part of our business. So this is our core business, the activities that we do and so on. But what has changed now rapidly in sustainability field in general is everything that happens before and after our business. And I think it's very similar to other companies as well, because the impact that companies like us create is not only created towards our own operations, but in our value chain in general. And that is a huge shift. And of course, that is the main idea of the Green Deal as well in Europe, that it's like a snowball effect, that if we start looking outside of our own business, this snowball starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's when we create an actual change. Because there's like so many interesting new facts coming out also illustrating this, that even like if you look that we, for example, are not a full design company, we have this in processes, but if you already consider that a circular approach to manufacturing can reduce the demand on raw electronic materials like by 32% and save costs by 25%, or that circular economy strategies can cut global greenhouse gas emissions by 39%. So these are huge numbers, and every year like $57 billion of in iron, copper, and gold is actually lost to electronic waste, showing the economic opportunity of circularity. So these are actually things that are relevant to all parts of this value chain. So in this presentation, we will be looking now, like said, what's happening also before and after our own operations. So if you're looking now this after part, so Otto, maybe can you give a couple comments what has happened there?
Yeah, no. So it's interesting if you look at going back a year or two before, for example, the new Trump administration, then we saw sustainability and so not only developing in Europe, but also there was talk other side of Atlantic and so to develop. So it was a world thing. Now suddenly sustainability was a little bit like taken off the topic or topic list in the US, and that set of course us in the European Union a little bit on edge, because if we have all these requirements and so to do reporting and others don't, then it's not the benefit for us. And I think that is very much so that it's a question of why you do it and also a question of how you do it. And I think Helena mentioned very well that in Incap we try to figure out and not be a victim of this reporting, but come out as a winner of this. And I'm quite sure that there is interesting things we can do as an industry to develop this and earn money on it. You know, design for ESG, for example, that at least I as a consumer, I would be willing to buy something a little bit more expensive if I know that it's environmentally friendly. But that means that we need to be able to track all the data, and we need to show that it actually is environmentally friendly. So yeah, the industry is shifting and things are different in our industry, and it's a global industry at the same time, and this also of course puts a lot of pressure on the whole value chain.
Mm-hmm. So if you look at the same thing now, which we talk about the market need, and now specifically from sustainability perspective, then of course statistics show already for years that there is a shift towards preferences of more sustainable solutions also in our industry. But of course we see right now that people are always not ready yet to pay the price for this. So the idea is good, but the prices are not there yet, because sustainable solutions quite often seem to become more expensive. And it's a mission or like Otto said, this value question, that do we have it there? and the solutions themselves as well. You are all here listening in today, also most of you at least in the industry where you can impact this. But let's be honest, the solutions even regarding PCBs are not fully there yet. For example, for niche products, super high quality products that we are not ready yet to use all these like biodegradable materials and so on. It still needs testing, so we still have time there. But from the market perspective, we see demand even internally or like considering our own customers. We see that some price offers now include also the questions about what the product's footprint will be. We see also that our customers are conducting ESG and sustainability self-assessments and want us to fill in this data as their suppliers. So there is a demand that's becoming bigger and bigger. And on the other hand, the second point here, it includes many challenges for companies who are not having their own products. Similarly to Incap, we are so-called like a middleman here, that we interact with suppliers, we interact with customers, but like you saw in the value chain, we are in the middle, so we don't have full visibility on all the data regarding the things happening before and after us. And to be honest, even not all customers have the understanding of how much emissions their products actually give out, and what's the carbon footprint of their products from the products they sell, for example, or what is related to end-of-life treatment of sold products. So what can companies like us do in order to impact this and our customers in this knowledge is that we just need to work more together in order to achieve not only this knowledge, but also achieve the emission reduction targets that we both set, that our customers set and we set in general. So emission reduction requirements is something that should come internally as well, but comes anyway from the market, and it is already there, like from the investors. Like we as a stock listed company see that our financiers want to see our climate targets, how we plan to get there, what are our roadmaps for that. We need to report whether we have things like these based on CSRD requirements and so on. So it's there. It's the framework has been there based on greenhouse gas protocol already for a while, but now it's more in focus for sure.
We have been mentioning before here that a lot of this integrated value chain we were talking about a lot. The only way that we can do a difference is to do it together. And here, of course, we have a lot of design companies today in the audience, and so the importance of the design phase is key. Over 90% of all the decisions related to cost and ESG and others are in the design phase. There you can decide what kind of materials you're going to buy, from whom you're going to buy, and so on, and that of course has a huge impact in it. But for the design to get relative data, relative information, then the key is that we work together. The design companies, EMS companies, the end customers or the OEMs, and also those that eventually scrap and recycle. That we get all the input in the whole value chain and life cycle in to the design phase. So I think that the key thing to take away from this, that we can't do it alone, and we need to collaborate, and we need to lift the industry standard together and get better on this. And so we know that it's difficult. We have before from Asia, it's hard to get, when it was conflict mineral information or ROHS information and so on, that people are not having the same values all over the world when it comes to environment. But I still think that we need to keep on pushing. And from an Incap perspective, it has been really a fun journey to be able to spread these values. Only within our organization, for example, that in US they don't have the same kind of experience with this, and they don't have the same kind of demand from their local governments and so on, reporting and they are embracing this and doing it now, and there we are in the forefront. And the same thing in India and other places we are in, that this is something new, that something that they are very motivated to work with.
Absolutely. And it's very similar from a sustainability perspective if we look at this in detail. So now, like Otto was already explaining, we are talking about this first part of this value chain, this upstream part of the value chain, and not only sustainability, not only social or governance data, which everything is now included in these inputs, but specifically, let's say again, emission information. This is something that data-wise, we don't have such visibility yet. So if we are counting any or setting some grounds right now, everything we do is mostly based on spend-based method, which means that how much money we put into this. This is a common practice on the market. So most companies are doing it, and it is fine as long as we don't have solutions for data or platforms where we could actually track the activity-based approach. This is definitely a strong challenge here, because how else can we motivate also our end customers or our customers to take sustainable decisions if they don't see this effect in numbers easily? Because like said, things we use, which are solutions that are more sustainable, can be much more expensive. And if you think money-wise, calculation-wise, then it looks like if you spend more, you have more emissions, but it's not. So all these solutions, they are there, but they are not so widespread yet. That how to track and monitor the activities and solutions and materials in this case that you take, if they are sustainable, what's their impact regarding emissions versus other traditional approaches, for example. So like said, it's the same here. Let's work together and find these solutions. And if it's like a practical approach, whether it's a climate transition plan, targets, whether it is more cooperation regarding design part. So it's definitely a personal approach for each solution here, but there are things to think about.
And Jürgen, we are happy to take questions. So